Hello and welcome. My name's Marie and this is my yarn journey. Welcome to my Friday knit chat and update. I'm still full of a cold, so apologies for the sounds of my voice and all that. I'll try and cut out any coughs, sniffs, whatever, as best I can. It's not always easy though, without cutting into what I'm talking about. I'm hoping that it's going to go in the next few days, fingers crossed. I just want to say massive thank you to anyone who is a new subscriber, and of course to all my wonderful returning viewers who watch my ramblings week in, week out. There was a new video up on Tuesday if you haven't seen it, and I'll link that down in the description, and that is a update on my box of socks. So if you've been here for a while, you'll know that last September time I did decide that I was going to knit a box of socks for myself. Being ambitious, I thought I'd get, definitely 12 pairs done, if not possibly 6. Go and watch the video if you haven't and you'll see for yourself. Yeah, ambitious as always. And to mention what I'm wearing, this is the Nuss Light. For this I used a yarn from Ginger Twist. I have worn it a few times recently. I'm quite surprised because last time I mentioned it, I did say to you that I'm not reaching for it because this yarn is quite warm. I should have really used this yarn for something that would be long sleeves. It would have been more practical, and it's a little bit itchy. Getting a bit more used to it now. Yeah, it would have been better with a full length sleeve. AJ has suggested seeing if I've got enough to extend my sleeves. Whether I'll bother doing that or not, I don't know. But if I was to use this yarn again in the future, which I'm not sure I would because it's not my preferred, although it is wearing up very well. And the fit's lovely on this Nuss Light. I love knitting it, the texture and things. And it's worn up well, but I've just noticed that it does need a bit of depilling now. It's a Ginger Twist yarn. I think it's BFL and some other yarns, but it's one of their hand-dyed that they do themselves. And Ginger Twist, if you've not heard of them, is a yarn store in Edinburgh. And I got this actual yarn from the Woolly Good Gathering in Edinburgh. Yeah, and there's not much more to say about this, but it's a really enjoyable knit. I highly recommend the pattern. Pretty easy to knit up. If you want to try textured knitting for the first time, highly recommend it. It's quite straightforward and the pattern's very easy to follow. Oh, just spotted a magpie flying into the guttering there, and I could just see its tail. Okay, so this week, even though I have been under the weather, I have managed to do quite a bit of knitting. It's not stopped me doing the knitting, obviously, but I've only worked on one project, and that is my main project, which is in my Willow Bay bag. This is what my mum got me. Lovely cord bag, and actually I really enjoy using this bag because it's ultra soft and cozy. And the project that I've been working on is my Calm Down sweater. Now I've got 2 sets of needles on here, 2 yarns attached, one which has just gone on the floor, so it might be rather difficult to show you, and I do need to try it on again. But you'll have heard this for the last few weeks now if you've been here, but I'm using this lovely cashmere, 100% cashmere from Ula and Leah, and this is 196 meters in 100 grams, and they 19 stitch gauge and 24 row gauge using a 4.5mm needle. Now I am actually knitting this on 4.5mm. My gauge when I last checked it was 21.5. Pattern, the Calm Down cardigan, calls for 22 stitch gauge, and I've done the neckline. So you can see that it is a bit, I think it'll be fine once it's blocked, if you can see. The fabric's quite dense, quite stiff at the moment. It's going to be a lovely, lovely warm sweater. I have also picked up for the sleeve and just working through that now. Now the sleeve, I've not tried it on since I've picked up for the sleeve or since I've done the neckline. If you can see, the body is bunched up on the needles, so I really need to, probably tomorrow I'll do this, not today, I'm too busy. I will extend my cord, which is what I'll prefer to do when I am trying on, rather than using a barber cord. Just find it much quicker, simpler and safer, because I can put my needle stoppers on. My cord stoppers, should I say. And yeah, because if you look at the sleeve, the armhole looked absolutely massive, and it's a common thing that people mention about this pattern. But I was thinking to myself, it's a lovely, lovely, cosy, more of an oversized vibe. Trust the process. I'm doing size 2. I was going to do size 3 in this pattern. The size 2 would fit me, but it's just less positive ease than what Lily Kate recommends for this pattern. Even so, I think looking at the armhole, I'm probably going to be quite glad that I went for size 2, as long as the body is not too fitted and the sleeves are massive. Who knows at this stage. The pickup was quite simple, and it was laid out really nicely in the pattern, so it was very easy to understand, and with the neckline as well. And I think it's one of the first times ever that I've just got my pickup bang on straight away with the right stitch count, so that was quite good. Yeah, she made it very, very easy. The only thing is, once I've started knitting, luckily it's on the back. As far as I can tell, the front pickup looks absolutely gorgeous. But the back, I've got one point where the pickup is gone really weird, and I'm going to have to probably just pull some of the yarn through to the other side and nip it through. I've obviously just popped my needle in the wrong part of the pickup there. But luckily it's on the back, so hopefully that won't notice. But what do you think? I'm thinking this is turning out really nice. Hopefully, yeah, the neckline will lay a little bit flatter once it's been blocked. Sorry, it wasn't the neckline. I was really quite anxious, and that put me off carrying on with this project, and I don't know why, because it was very straightforward. I mean, double knitting isn't really in itself a hard thing. It's slipping stitches, but it's just the thought of it. And I think she'd mentioned in the pattern something about, now let me think about this, something like you might want to do it bit by bit as you're going round. And I was like, not sure about that. But then when I actually read the instructions, I just literally picked all my stitches up all the way round and just knit it as she suggested. So you start down here in the V and you sort of work your way round. You do some short rows to help the collar lay as it should here. And then when you come round, you then sew them together here. The only thing I would say is that, and I've actually looked on Lily Kate's, zoomed in, and hers has done a similar thing, so I don't think it's that I've sewn it together really badly, because you do whip stitch, I think it's called, these together. Like, it's the one where you pull and the fabric comes together anyway. And it just, I don't know if it just looks a little bit off. But it's not bad enough that I think I'll go back and change it. And like I say, I looked at hers and it looked very, very similar, because I wasn't 100% sure. That was the one part in the pattern that I found very hard to understand. And I feel there should have been a video now. There might be one, but I didn't find one in the pattern. So whether I've missed it or not, I don't know. But I think they really could have done just to be a tutorial there to make it a bit easier for people to understand if they've never done that before. I looked up a tutorial on how to do the stitch, but it's something I've done before, but it's hard. I sometimes think with those things, it's you know how to do it, but it's like starting and finishing is difficult. But sewing together, I've not done a lot of, and yeah, I always think my sewing together does look a bit off. But I think a lot of people are like that, and that's why people prefer to do knitting in the round. Anyway, yeah, that's all I had to say really about this. I can't wait for this to be finished now. The weather's turned, so I'm hoping that I can wear it very, very soon, because it's going to be very warm. This, like I say, the yarn recommends a 19 stitch gauge, which this would be lovely at a 19 stitch gauge, to be fair, because I can tell just doing this that little bit denser, it's going to be very, very warm. Which I think is nice, because I think it's going to end up being like I envisaged, which is very, very similar to my pole sweater. And my pole sweater, I reach for all the time. So, yeah, I've really enjoyed working on that this week. And I'm just working through the decrease on that sleeve. What I'm going to do, I think, is finish the ball of yarn I've got attached to the sleeve, finish the ball of yarn I've got attached to the body, and then I will try it on. And fingers crossed, it fits me. Like I say, I did try it on just after I joined in the round, so at that point I know it fit me. But things can change, you know, once you've got the sleeves and neckline on. Next, I wanted to talk to you about my socks. So I hope you've seen my video that I did earlier in the week, which was an update on my box of socks. Since then, the socks that are in there have been put in my drawer, and I decided to start wearing them straight away. You know, it's a long time since I actually knit them. I'm hoping I've got some sort of notes, but I don't know how well I took those. But I've got my knitting journal on my iPad now, so hopefully going forward when I do knit socks, I'm going to be able to keep track of better notes. And I think with my last pair, if I remember rightly, I did do some notes in my little notepad, so either way we shall see. Anyways, what I wanted to say to you was, I have tried on my, I've worn my first pair of socks, which I wore these yesterday. And I am also wearing today these ones, if you can see them, my hibernal socks. A bit hard to show on camera, but you got the glimpse. So this pair of socks, lovely pair of socks. One major problem, so they are looking a bit worse for wear now because I've had them on all day. I've got something stuck in it there. They need washing. They're too big. Now, the length is too long, for sure. I am a UK size 6.5 to a 7, depending on where I get my footwear from. And yeah, and I think maybe this is because I've done an afterthought heel. But then, and I've obviously I've measured it to the wrong point or whatever, I don't know. Or because I've done it a bit bigger because I wanted to leave the stripes intact. I can't remember. But yeah, these are definitely too big, and I don't think, and because of that, it puts me off the afterthought heel because it sort of gets tucked behind my heel there in my shoe and stuff. So lovely socks, lovely fabric, no pulling anywhere because they're very, very loose. Which, when I waited so long to wear them, it's a little bit disappointing because previously a lot of my socks have been too tight across the top of the foot. So, yeah, I couldn't believe that. And I'm thinking, either it's because I've done the afterthought heel on these and I've just literally done the foot too long, or it's because it's superwash yarn, and most sock yarns are superwash, and the blocking has stretched it out. Now, I've put on the hibernal socks today, which I just gave you a peek of, and they're a heel flap and gusset. They definitely fit better. But I'm wondering if, going forward, I actually need to take into account or consider the fact that they need to be more snug before blocking. Because, yeah, the hibernal socks as well, they're quite baggy on the ankle, which I always have that issue. I'll just pop my trainer off and then I can try and show you. See, they look all right on, but look, it really is loosey on the legs. They just about hold up. Heel fits nicely, length of the foot's good. So I do think the heel flap and gusset is good, and I absolutely love how these look, by the way. They look beautiful. They are wearable. I could just do them being slightly tighter. So I think what I need to do is go back and look at, I think I will have, with the hibernal socks for sure, because they're a pattern, I'll probably have the pattern on my iPad. And what I do on my patterns, like I used to do in the olden days, you know, when I learnt to knit, I do actually write on my patterns. So I should have notes on that, because, you know, I just want to get the fit right, and especially if I'm doing a full year of doing socks. So going forward, I need to make sure for definite that if I do a pair of socks and I keep proper notes, and then afterwards I try them on after block before I put them away to get a good idea of how the fit is. But I just wanted to let you know, because I was really shocked when I put these socks on and they were so loose, because they were very loose. You know, loose to the point where they're slipping around, if that makes sense. I will still wear them. Possibly they might end up as bed socks, I'm not sure. But yeah, keep, you know, I'll keep you updated. Let me know if you've had this same sort of issue with socks changing after you block them. And also, have you got a way of counteracting this? Or, I mean, I know I've heard people say that your socks do stretch out over time, which I can imagine, but these are already feel like they're stretched. Maybe I could, now I've never done this before. Have I? Or maybe I have. Maybe I could put them on the wool cycle in the washing machine. Is that risky? Let me know if you've done that and if they've turned out not to go felted. Now, it isn't, the main yarn is a commercial yarn, so potentially I feel more that'll be the safer option of putting into the washing machine rather than a hand dye, but who knows. This week I have had some happy mail, so I wanted to show you that. So was it last week? Yeah, I think last week I mentioned, and I probably shouldn't have mentioned it because you've all been buying them. I don't blame you really, because they are fabulous. Nicola from Tea Cake and Make had announced that she will be launching a sock set with a bag, and it was gingerbread themed. Now, I adore gingerbread men. I have lots of the ornaments on my Christmas tree, gingerbread men designs, gingerbread mugs, all that sort of thing. Really gets me in the festive spirit. And to be fair, I did have some absolutely lovely tree decorations that have been handmade. Unfortunately, the moths got to those and they've had to be binned, which was absolutely gutted about. Anyways, That was a side tangent. So that was last Friday that Nicola launched that. Now, I had a really busy day Friday. Unfortunately, I got sidetracked, was unable to get online when they were launched. Lo and behold, later in the day when I sat down to have a look, none available, and I was absolutely gutted because the main thing that I actually wanted from the kit was the beautiful bag. Because if you've been here before, you will know that pretty much 100% of the time, this bag from Nicola has a project in. And this is her small size sock project bag. And as you can see, this has got my current sock project in. I adore this bag. It's so handy for me. Perfect are these bags for chucking in my knitting basket to keep all my projects tidy. They're very thin, they're very lightweight. You can chuck this inside your handbag. Yeah, and it's just so easy to use. It's just a drawstring. The drawstring is very thin and it's like a leather strap. I can't say enough good things about these bags. They just work perfectly for me. And like I say, that one is in rotation all the time. And I do have enough that I can rotate lots around because of, you know, as we all do, we end up with lots of project bags, don't we? But that one stays in rotation no matter what. I absolutely love it. And the bag that was in the kit that they were doing, so it was a kit and it had a bag and it had some other bits in, and then it also had in some yarn and a sock pattern for doing some gingerbread socks, which if you want to make some lovely gingerbread socks for Christmas, or do that as your December cast on or your Christmas Eve cast on, go and have a look on Nicola's Etsy. I will link that down below because her patterns are lovely. I've tested one before. I'm not into doing colourwork socks at the moment. If I was, I'd certainly be giving those a knit, and hence why I was looking forward to getting the kit as well. But the bag that was in that kit was stunning, and it was I think it was a medium that came in the kit, but I can't remember. And it was a gingerbread one. Now, as soon as I went on Friday and I couldn't get hold of any because it's sold out, I was like, surely they've not sold out already. And so I messaged Nicola and I was like, please tell me I've not missed out on the bag. And lo and behold, I had. So she did kindly say to me that she had some other fabric that was very similar and she would see what she got and get back to me. And then she put these up. And I absolutely love this. That was a long tale to tell you that I've got a new project bag from Nicola, and it's this beautiful, beautiful gingerbread bag, and I absolutely adore it. This is the medium size, and it came with this lovely, lovely candy cane charm, which I love. I quite often have candy cane on my nails at Christmas. But yeah, I'm so pleased that I've managed to get this bag. So thank you to Nicola for making some more in this beautiful, beautiful fabric. I think the original, and I can't remember quite at this moment, but I think the original had a darker background, like a brownie one or a red one. I can't remember. But this, I absolutely love. And no doubt, November and December, this will get, even before maybe, we'll get lots of use. So it's a medium size, this, so you could probably fit in a summer top for definite, any sort of accessories, and if you don't put all the yarn in, you could probably fit a sweater project in here too. And all her bags are very, very reasonably priced as well. So yeah, I wanted to show you that I have got that. I don't know if there is any left in her shop, but I'd recommend any of her bags. The only thing you need to see is if there's any fabrics you like. And the last thing that I wanted to share with you today is that I have finished this book, One Dark Window. Now, this is a fantasy. It's about magic, and I don't want to give too much away, but I absolutely loved it, and what an ending. I couldn't put it down. I stayed up past. So I've probably mentioned before, I always go up at 10, read my book for about 45 minutes, go to sleep. There was a few nights where I literally went past 11 reading this. There is a romance element to the story, but it's not heavy in the story. Well, yeah, there's a romance there, but it's like simmering underneath the main story. Very, very interesting. And I have just started the second book, which I think I've left upstairs. Let me see if it says the name of it in here. I think it's 3 Crowns, the second one. This is a duology. So it's a 2-part series. I'm sure it's 3 Crowns, but it doesn't seem to say. Anyway, yeah, I've really enjoyed this. Now, this whole book, the first one, is written from the viewpoint of Elspeth, which is the main character in here. And I really enjoyed that. In the next book, and there's a reason for this, but I won't say, but it's written from lots of different viewpoints. So, yeah, still as good, still as interesting, and I think I must be about a third of the way through already. I will be quite disappointed when it finishes now. Rachel Gillig has got a new book out, The Night and the Moth, I think it's called, which I probably will try again. But I liked this with the pace and everything. There was lots going on, very interesting read. So yeah, I'd highly recommend it if you like a fantasy with a bit of romance. And that's mostly everything that I wanted to update you on this week. I have got some chocolate tiffin chilling in the fridge, so I've been trying to make a lot more homemade snacks recently. So if you want something very easy to make, highly recommend chocolate tiffin. I've made Rocky Road a few times, but the vote was that they'd prefer it without the marshmallows in, so that's what tiffin is really. But literally so easy to make, no cook, chill it in the fridge for a few hours and then it's done. And yeah, that's everything for this week. I will see you again next Friday, as long as nothing crops up. Same time, 6 p.m, hopefully. And yeah, enjoy your knitting, enjoy your crafting. Have a lovely weekend and week. And I'll see you next time. Bye.